Hi, my name's Jackie Jarvis. I'm here at Jarvis Estate. This is our family owned and operated vineyard. My husband and I bought this property in 1997 and it was just an empty paddock that had been running beef cattle, and we planted the first vines here in 1998, and everything you see behind me has been established by Matt and I. We now run it as a commercial winery. We have a cellar door, we do wine exports, and we do this in addition to my day job because anyone with a farm will know it's always handy to have an off-farm income. I'm the Agribusiness Development Manager for the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development in Western Australia. Prior to this, I was the CEO of WA's Rural Regional Remote Women's Network, and last year in 2019 I was lucky enough to be named Community Leader of the Year in the Australian Farmer of the Year Awards. Which was a huge honour, and it came from some work I was doing with the Rural Regional Remote Women's Network of WA around how we can empower and skill more women to actually take on more roles, whether that be leadership roles in their own community, employment roles, and just to open up more opportunities for women. It's often hard in regional areas to build a career when there's not a lot of large employers around, and for some women that means self-employment, for some women that means being actively involved in their family farm, and for some women that means working off farm. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge and value all women's contributions in rural Australia, regardless of what their role is. We did a Women's Voices survey. It was in partnership with WA's Department of Communities, and we really wanted to understand the challenges faced by rural women. And as you'd expect, it was things like accessing good education for themselves or their children, access to healthcare, all of the things we know about regional Australia. What was really interesting though was the lack of career building opportunities and the opportunities for women to expand either their income earning potential or their own personal or professional development. And it was a real eye-opener for me, and it probably reflected my own personal journey where it has been hard over the years to build a career when living regionally. And for sometimes for me that has meant living away from home midweek and being home on weekends. And that has its challenges obviously when you're trying to keep a family functioning and a household going. Working in volunteering roles is fantastic because it makes you feel good and it makes you know that you're contributing to your community. It's actually really valuable for women as well, building your skill set in your own personal and professional development. And I know when I was looking to get back into the workforce and I had more than 10 years out of, the professional workforce, I'd been doing the books in the family farming business and raising children. It was really valuable for me to be able to pull together a CV that included volunteering activities and really being able to articulate the value that would give a future employer. You know, I often hear women use the just word. I'm just a mum, I just help out a bit on the farm, I just do the books. It's really important for us to understand that we all make a huge contribution to our communities in lots of different ways. And I think one thing we haven't done as a society is actually put enough economic value on that. And we know in our current society if something isn't valued economically, then perhaps it's not valued at all. For every hour you put into off-farm work, that is money you are spending in your local community. Every hour you put into your farming community, whether it's on your own farm or through land care activities, you're making a worthwhile economic contribution to your local community and to Australia. One of the big challenges for building a career in rural WA is access to childcare in lots of areas, particularly when you're living in small towns. Wouldn't it be fantastic if the employment of an au pair or a nanny would be seen as a business tax deduction, recognising the contribution women make to their farming businesses, to their communities, or even to their employers. We have these fabulous young women living in rural and regional areas, and let's make sure they're safe and protected and really feel valued in their careers. And I think it's really important that as community leaders we stand up and say that sexual harassment isn't on in any way, shape or form. I live 100 kilometres from my usual office in Bunbury, and I live 300 kilometres from Perth, and I would travel to Bunbury a few days a week and I would be in Perth at least a few days a fortnight. And since the COVID lockdown, I've actually been able to work from home full time, which has been fantastic, but it's also been a real eye-opener, I think, to the people more senior in my organisation and also to my colleagues about how effectively you can work from home. And I think that's just going to be fantastic for women living in rural and regional areas all across Australia. So if there's a positive to come from the COVID lockdown, it is actually that it's, I guess, opened the eyes of a lot of people about how productive people can be working from home, and that's going to be a great thing for women.